Broadcasting worldwide through internet, satellite, AM and FM stations across the nation. Sponsored by SurvivalistSeeds.com, PatriotFood.com, and StriderRides.com. It gets a little rough from here on. This is Don't Tread on Me with Big John Lipscomb and Professor Jeffrey Grubb.
Welcome to the show tonight, folks, and let me give you the phone number so that you can call in right away, or you can do it any time during the show. It is 877-342-6673, and you can also instant message me at bigjohnlipscomb@yahoo.com and just shoot me a question or a thought. The more interesting, the better. And I usually get a whole mess of them during the show, and I'm looking forward to it tonight because it's going to be, I think, an interesting show, a bit controversial, and we'll see where that goes. But, hey, if I know a lot of you are used to me doing, the preparedness, the conspiracy, and the homesteading show. I still do that show. I just do it on a different network. And it's a 1 hour a day. And it's over at themicroeffect.com. You can also hear it at TalkStream.com. And it's from 4 to 5 p.m. Central Time. I don't know what it is your particular time. That's what I'm doing over here, 4 to 5. And then, I do the preparedness, the homesteading, the survivalism, all that kind of stuff. I had Jim Townsend, my good friend from up there in Canada, as a guest today. Jim has really been fighting the New World Order, and gosh darn, I hope you guys check out his website and give him a helping hand if you can. And that's at Townsend.be. Townsend.be. And I know many of you that have been with me a couple of years know Jim very well. And, extend a little patriotism, will you, folks? And then, here on this show that is live from 7 to 9 Central with Professor Grubb, we are going to be discussing pretty much exclusively mystery, conspiracy, alternative things, and new science. And like tonight, we're going to talk a little spiritual matters, religious matters. And last time I did this, a little over a year ago, I was accused of being the Antichrist. But if you just stick with the whole show, I think you'll probably end up agreeing with me by the time we're done. Hey, Jeffrey, how's it going tonight?
Hey, it's going great. How about with you?
Oh, really good. And why don't you tell your listeners that come over here and my listeners so that they can go listen to your Antimatter Radio, how to do that, and also your newsletter. Tell them about your newsletter. Oh,
hey, well, didn't know you'd be bringing that up. I'm glad that you did. I've got, as I've been telling the Antimatter listeners, I'm trying to learn how to make money without having to go back to teaching. And so I started up a newsletter, and as a primary means to try to do that, it's $2.49 a month. And it's basically a supplement to the show. And I actually, this sounds cruel, but I actually keep certain special, really amazing, interesting issues off the air and purposely only discuss them in the newsletter just because I know it sounds crazy, but I need income. I have to support family and so forth. So it's that has worked, and people have seemed to think that's fair. I'm happy to say. And we just put out one last night. It was called Crazy Horses, Aboriginal Freedom, and the Nephilim Soul Theft was the one last night, and it was a bombshell, I'd say. And so my whole show is really driven by the newsletter, and for many reasons. But yeah, so if you're interested, it's at antimatterradio.com, and it's just a perfect addition to the show.
Hey, now Jeff, that newsletter, how much does it cost?
It's $2.49 a month, $2.49 a month, and we're doing it about twice a week now. But things are cooling off a little bit. I've been really busy the last 2 months, and we're going to try to get it up to about every other day. And I think we'll probably be able to do that. We've got a whole bunch of material that we're just going to be pounding them out. So, but the listeners have emailed me back and just been overjoyed with them. So I thought they would be. I mean, I write them, and I'm just ecstatic. So I thought they would.
I don't know how you're doing it for $2.49. I would think it's more like $20, but hey, that's your business, not mine. But I really want to encourage you listeners to go over there to Antimatter Radio and subscribe, because it like Jeffrey said, man, there's some really neat stuff that he's putting out and that you can't catch on his radio show. It's related, but very, very interesting stuff. Hey, Jeffrey, I thought you and I might talk a little Old Testament. We've got a lot of Christians that are listening to this show, and they've never considered some of the things that I have over the last 20 years, and I would sure like to get your take on things. I reckon we're probably seeing things similar in a lot of times, but probably different at other times. Have you looked into the Old Testament God much?
Oh yeah. I brought that up with Dr. Pugh last night. I was sort of complaining to her really that I used to be a rabid atheist, and I used to attack people over all the genocide that Jehovah carried out, and I would be given reasons. I asked Dr. Pugh what she thought, and I for some reason I said there's really only one good explanation. I don't know what I was thinking. I sort of slipped my mind. Even just days before, I was talking on my show about a second alternative, which I actually like more. But I mean, there has to really be an explanation for all this really crazy violence, Jericho and so forth, in the Old Testament. And I personally am, to this minute, right now, I mean, I do meditation every day, and I know that there's the creator of the universe, and I know that it's the one described in the Bible. I mean, I can feel it. And so I need an explanation from somewhere about the crazy mayhem. It just doesn't fit. Let me just give you real quick, either, like we were talking about with Dr. Pugh last night, either there was something really wrong with those people and we don't understand why they had to be killed, but I'm not buying it. I went with Dr. Pugh too quickly last night on that and was kicking myself in the butt after the show for doing that, because that's not even really what I think. There's something not right about that explanation. We can talk about that in a bit, because I got about 15 reasons why there's a problem with that. But then the other reason has to be that Jehovah wasn't God. Jehovah was just some guy, one of those crazy drug lords back then, told everybody he was God, and then when the politicians came in and screwed up the Bible, and I do hold that theory, by the way. I don't think it's a theory. I think it's fact. I mean, the Council of Nicaea, I mean, who was running them?
Yeah.
Was it God? No, it was a bunch of crooked New World Order, Old World Order politicians. Do you think they're going to do what's in the will of God and the people? No way. So, I mean, I'm not saying the message of the Bible has been destroyed. I'm not saying that, because I don't think it has. I think the Old Testament has been tampered with. And so anyway, that's a good tidbit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the New Testament has been tampered with a lot too, and hopefully we can get to that. But one thing I would like to point out is to my new listeners here that I was raised Catholic, even